Good evening, YouTubers. T Square with T Square Talk. So today I wanted to shoot a little bit of a video just to talk to you guys about what's going on with the food shortages. We've recently done a lot of videos, and I kind of wanted to recap some of that because this problem is continuing to escalate. So with that being said, let's jump on over and we'll get started and talk about some of the articles and what's going on in the news and how it could affect you. So before I get started, I'd like to thank the 4,530 subscribers that are currently following the channel. Also, if you'd like to help the channel spread the message, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. We really thank you for your help and support. Also, if you'd like, you can follow us on Instagram. We are currently sitting at 2,954 as we continue to grow our channel. We are currently doing a 4,000 subscriber giveaway at the end of this month, where we are giving away a full set of all 5 2019 W quarters. So with that being said, let's jump on over and get talking about what the main point of the video is today. We did a story a while back about Smithfield shutting down the U.S. pork plants indefinitely and warns of a meat shortage. I took a lot of, I won't say a lot, but I took a fair amount of criticism because we are in the U.S. and we could never experience a food shortage, supposedly. However, we've seen a lot of the run on the stores, and people said, oh, that has nothing really to do with the virus. That's, I got a lot of comments that's just ignorant people stocking up, preparing in my mind, but I wouldn't say exactly like that. I would say that a lot of that food shortage, the shelves being wiped out, a lot of that had to do with people getting prepared. They were buying a little bit extra each day when they went out shopping, or periodically when they went out shopping, and it did put a strain on the system. However, that's because a lot of these people knew that it was inevitable that eventually we were going to start seeing food shortages. Now, we're starting to see it heavily in the meat, chicken, pork products. And, we also talked a little bit about what was going on in China. And I always say this, that I try to stay up really late and do a lot of different videos because I like to follow what's going on overseas. Because a lot of times what happens over there sweeps over here, whether that's a housing crisis, whether that's the stock market's going down. Everything usually starts overseas and then it filters into the U.S. Now, there may come a time where a lot of the problems might center around the U.S., and if it centers here, it's going to filter to the entire world, essentially. We did just do a video last night where we talked a little bit about what's going on with the dollar currently compared to other currencies and how that could play out in the near future. However, when it comes to the food shortages, as this virus continues to spread, a lot of people are saying, oh, how it's going to hit Arizona because they've got to close down these huge meatpacking plants. And, this was another plant that just had over 200 people get infected in it, and how it's going to affect basically all the workers, the employees there, that town, if they have to shut it all down. But what people aren't fully seeing, the big picture yet, is that if they shut down a lot of these bigger plants, it doesn't only affect that area. It affects the meat industry as a whole because it starts putting strain on supplies to go out all over the country. And a lot of people don't know this, and you may or may not, but when you factor in the FDA getting involved, they can't just go and sell these chickens to random people. There's a lot of rules and stuff. That's why you're seeing farms kind of just bury entire crops. There was a story we talked about a couple weeks ago about 2 million potatoes just getting thrown on the side of the road. Anybody that wanted to come take them could. They couldn't officially hand them out to people, but they could dump them there and make it known that they're sitting there. And if anybody wanted to go, they could just go and pick them up. And now with, a lot of chickens, a lot of hogs all getting slaughtered, they can't just keep feeding them. It's essentially starts costing them money to keep feeding the animals, and not process them. They've got a routine, and they'll end up shipping these to these meat packing plants where they do um, process it, kill it. I hate to use that word because sometimes people get, I don't know, squeamish about it. Those of you that know, I raise my own chickens, and I do a lot of that. So myself, so I'm not really squeamish about it. It is part of life, and whenever you eat any kind of meat, I mean, someone did it. So with that being said, as we talk more, it's starting to close a lot of these plants around the U.S. And it was interesting that Tyson actually warned of a meat shortage due to plant closures. As that continues to happen, we will start to see an increased price on food. Um, and that's inevitable, supply and demand. As less plants are up and running that are processing food in areas, they can't send everywhere, so it's going to simply come down to supply and demand, and the price will start to climb heavily. As that happens, it's going to put even more of a burden on your regular income families. One of the things I'm looking into this week is possibly getting a second deep freeze. I already have two freezers. I know sometimes people are like, well, how much food do you need? If this continues at the rate it's going, having extra stuff in there is not going to hurt. I do have a food sealer, so when you food save stuff, it will seal it and save it for at least a year. You're not going to have any problems. And I've heard of people saying even longer. My food never, the way I rotate it, never really lasts more than a year. However, I do buy when stuff's on sale, and it kind of saves me a lot of money and helps me continue to save and move forward for retirement and that type of stuff. But I'm recommending that people really maybe stock up on some meats, some extra stuff, if you can afford it. I know right now times are super tough. That's why we started talking about this a little bit early on. I know my grocery stores in the area, they've stopped using coupons altogether, and they've deemed it as a risk assessment. When you go and you pull that coupon off and hand it to the cashier, the more stuff that goes back and forth increases risk, essentially, of catching this virus. I'm In my opinion, I think it comes down to more of a money thing. As we've done videos about how you're seeing more government and state and county put a lot of little extra fines and taxes on different stuff right now. Kind of like these $500 fines. Just there was a guy out fishing, got a $500 fine. I mean, some of the stories are just ridiculous. A paddle boarder in the bay, he got a $500 fine. And that's their way of making up some of this money. So you really have to look out kind of for yourself, and maybe consider, like I said, consider getting a deep freeze, because this is going to impact just about everybody in the U.S. And for those people that think this is pretty much over, because businesses are starting to open back up, these are not old articles. I mean, this article was only 12 hours ago. So some people believe that, this is winding down. It's not. Just because they open stuff back up, it's putting more of a risk of this spreading even more. Like I said from the get-go, they just kind of need to shut everything down. Everything. Tell everybody, grocery stores, everything, we're shutting everything down 2 weeks. And really put a stop to this right kind of early on. Now, I think they're doing a wonderful job with what they're trying to do. They've had a huge impact early on. However, this is a serious problem, and as they kind of open up, we'll open up some stuff, and we won't open up some stuff. You look at some of the stuff they're opening up. I mean, they just reopened up malls where I'm at now, but they didn't open up hair salons. I mean, you go in one-on-one to get a haircut. That's not open, but yet a mall is open. So, we talked a lot about that last night, but it's kind of interesting as you get into this. So consider going out and maybe getting a deep freeze and keeping an eye on kind of food supplies. I recommend you subscribe to the channel. That way you stay up to date on basically any information, breaking information. I spend a lot of time trying to do the research for you, and I'm thankful for the subscribers that do come here and watch the videos. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit a thumbs up on it. It does help our video get shared, and my prayers go out to everybody. Hopefully it all pans out and eventually does wind down. So I thank you guys for watching and hope to see you guys again on T Square Talk. Thanks for watching, guys.